Like artist-wise, like I'm always gonna listen to Drake, OT7 Quantity. Bro.
OT7
I ain't gonna lie.
Can I ask, what's your favorite OT7 Quantity song? Can you name any of them right now?
Go Getter. Go Getter is one of them. And then Youngest Turn. It just came out. I was listening to that this weekend.
That's why he's running the ball the way he is.
Allar, listen to OT7
Quantity.
I don't remember him having a day where it was like, oh, Franklin, he's a little off today. He's not locked in like he should be. This dude is the model
most
of consistency.
Individual. It hasn't changed in 30 years. Whatever the number he throws out.
He's gonna be himself.
The best thing is when you know what he's gonna say before he says it.
Goodness.
And you know it's coming. Like red zone fades, if a ball goes out of bounds, you already know it's coming. I learned that the first day, and that's always my biggest nightmare. And I'm like, oh, here it comes. Here it comes. Yeah.
And I put my helmet in the back of Sean's hamstring as hard as I can. Like I drill Cliff. Cliff gets up, looks at me, he's like, hey, jackass. Is that all you got? And then runs off the field. That's the first interaction I ever had with Cliff. We ended up being good friends. That's my guy.
Right after you drilled him.
Right after I drilled him. No Diddy. Regardless, we'll cut that. We gotta cut that. We gotta cut that out. What's going on, everybody? Aeneas Hawkins here in the Family Clothesline. If you have not found your way here, make sure to stop in. You can find Family Clothesline at 352 East College Ave, of course, State College, PA 16801. Make sure to stop in if you haven't yet. If you're gonna go online, you can find Family Clothesline at www.pennstateclothes.com. Visit us in the heart of Lion Country. We have extended hours here at the Family Clothesline on home football weekends, or you can find us 24/7 at www.pennstateclothes.com. Welcome back in, everybody, to a very special episode of The Lion's Den. I'm your host, Aeneas Hawkins, joined as always by my wonderful co-host, Dvon J. Thomas. And Dvon, would you like to introduce our guest who really doesn't need an introduction?
Yes, sir. We are with the QB phenom, the gunslinger, the man himself, the man in the arena, Drew Patrick Allar.
Yeah. Drew, how are you doing today, brother?
Doing great. How are you guys doing?
I can't complain, man. I can't complain. I want to get right into it. We can talk about a lot of different things, Drew. I've had the privilege of knowing you since you were a recruit. I just was telling somebody the story about when you and Zane Durant were just 17-year-old kids sitting in me and Nick Dawkins' apartment. And to see where you are now is incredible, bro. It's a completely different world. Even the fit that we got on right now, this is totally different.
You see that, He took it all this week. Usually I put on a couple outfits, but then he said, you know what? I'm going to put it on. I said, you got it, Drew.
Mom bowed out humbly for us. Drew, I want to ask you, the Illinois game we'll talk about in more detail later on, but that's a ranked opponent that came in here who had beaten two other ranked opponents. And you guys look dominant. The offense looks incredibly confident the way you guys are playing right now. So if you could just walk us through that whiteout energy against Illinois and how you felt out there on Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, the atmosphere was crazy. Obviously, on offense, we don't get to hear it as much when we're out in the field, but just sitting down on the bench, listening to how loud it gets, like it's hard to communicate with Danny on the sidelines when our defense is out there. So, I mean, just to be a part of a team that has a home environment like that, it's unreal. It's special. As far as the offense, I think we're starting to get on a roll, just cleaning up a few things here and there, but I think we're doing a good job right now. We just got to keep building.
Yeah. How would you say, just in terms of how the offense has progressed, what has been the biggest progression for you guys so far up until this fourth game going into UCLA?
Yeah, I mean, I think our confidence, I think you would say the same thing, even from the spring. Like, I thought we were starting to gain that confidence in the spring, but I think when fall camp came around and first couple games of the season, we've really identified ourselves like as a team that has swag on the offensive side of the ball and confidence. And I think you can see just connectedness on both sides of the ball, offense, defense, complementary football, what we always talk about. But I think offensively we're in a good spot. We just got to keep building just like we do every day.
Yeah.
You talk about confidence and you talk about spring ball, and I got to tell the story now that you brought up the spring. I remember coming to practice, and again, I've known you for a while, and I've known you as a cool, even-keel guy about his business, and you still are all those things, but I can remember the defense had made a good play in the practice, and Amin Vanover, surprise, surprise, starts talking crazy to everybody on the offense, and he eventually gets to Drew. Drew doesn't say anything right then. The next play, Franklin announces the score, and of course it's tied up. You know how Franklin goes. It's tied up, and the offense ends up winning the drill, and then you start responding back to Amin. I see Drew screaming, and I'm in shock. So I want to ask you about your own confidence. Because it's apparent this year that you are playing with a whole lot of confidence. Where does that come from? How did you get to this point?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's something I always had in myself. I just didn't show it my first 2 years, and I think this year I wanted to really bring that side of me out, just because I've always had it in me. I just never really showed it, that's how I want to play. We always talk about on offense being the thermostat, setting the tone, not being the thermometer. So that's what I want to do. Like, I want to set the tone as the offense, and I know the guys, like the other guys on the ball, want to do the same thing for us as offense. Like our 2 running backs, Nick and Fat, and then Doc up front. Like we want to be the guys that set the tone for our offense, and I just take pride in that. It's something I'm working on each day. But Mino will let anybody know when he makes a play or the defense is getting to us. But yeah, I think that's what really has been the difference this year, because I think offensively we've started to push back in a way, be more competitive, both in the periods, with the score wise. Even if we don't win the period, it's coming down to 1 or 2 reps a period, and just how we're handling ourselves as offense. I think we're not just taking it. I think we're giving it back, and I think that's good for both sides of the ball. It just iron sharpens iron.
I mean, and again, you talk about the confidence in the offense. I would definitely say 100% our offense has looked more confident, played more confident, and they just believe in everything they're doing. So what have you seen specifically, what players have you seen develop or grow into that role as a person you can rely on to make big plays?
Yeah, I mean, I think it starts with Nick and Fat, really. I think we saw it this weekend, too, with Nick with his chip block and then catching the ball in the flat and just killing the guy at the sticks right on our sideline. So, I think those 2 guys, and then Fat Man he just punishes guys whenever anybody tries to tackle him. You can't bring him down one guy. He's going to run you over, and he's going to let you know about it.
Yeah,
so
and he's
I think
good for 6.
Oh, yeah. He's falling forward every time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it starts with those guys, but I think Ty Warren is the silent assassin on our offense. Obviously, we saw this weekend he was playing quarterback a little bit more. Had the leap in the end zone, which was pretty crazy to be a part, just see it happen on the side. But I think those guys set the tone for us, and then I think our receivers are doing a really good job right now. Once we get Trey involved in the game, we can see how explosive of an athlete he is, and same with Amari. And we've gotten Julian and Liam going a little bit this weekend or the past couple of weeks. So we're just looking to keep building on that and get everybody involved in the game plan.
Yeah, and then you talk about not necessarily a young O-line, but kind of inexperienced O-line. You know, we have a lot of great offensive linemen that haven't really seen a lot of play in the last couple of years. How have you seen Nick Dawkins, especially at that center position, step up into that role as the leader up front?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, he's the leader up front. I think he gets those guys on the same page for sure. And I think they're really connected this year. I think they were super connected last year, obviously. That was a special group. But I think this offensive line is just super connected with each other. And I think they do a great job of communicating IDs and what they're doing, each play, pass pro, run game. I think they do a great job of that. And they're playing violent up front. I think this weekend, you saw it. Guys like Venga, you don't want to get you don't want his hands be put on you.
I'm telling you this right now. Me and Venga go at it all the time. If you don't catch his inside hand before it hits you, you've lost a rep.
Yeah.
There's only a couple things that you can do because he's around 350.
It's a big boy.
It look like it. It doesn't look like it.
It doesn't look like it.
It doesn't move like it either.
But his hands are quick.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about him and how he moves. I saw a play this weekend where bro came in motion
from a wide receiver.
And I see the safety, and I'm just praying. I'm like, buddy, this is a long one for you. Yeah. Not the matchup you want out here.
No, he hit a little here and then kept climbing. I said, man.
It's not a good feeling for that safety.
Yeah,
I want to ask, you bring up Nick Singleton, who there's some guys who they just do things, and you know that's not normal. That play you talk about where he knocks the defensive end out, makes a good catch, plants his foot, knocks out another dude trying to tackle him. As the quarterback, being up close and personal with him every day, are there still moments where you laugh to yourself when you watch him do something?
It's every Sunday and Wednesday in the weight room. In the weight room, it's ridiculous. I think even from when me and Nick first got here, since both mid-years, he was squatting 500 when we first got here. He does some alien stuff. It's insane how athletic he is and powerful he is. It's unreal.
Unreal.
I don't understand it. Yeah. And I mean, he just the way he carries himself too. You would never know that's who he is. In the weight room and out on the field.
Yeah, most unassuming humble kid in the world if you meet him.
Oh my goodness, yeah. You just He's quiet. He's more quiet than people would think.
And honestly, because he's such a nice guy.
Yeah.
I mean, I know he's a freak athlete, but when I see him hit the defensive end like that, it like almost shocks me because of how nice of a guy he is when he's not playing football.
My favorite part was just him smacking the helmet after.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, that's terrifying to watch.
It's crazy.
Yeah, he's not normal.
No,
Drew,
he's absurd.
I want to ask, and it's obvious, you came in with lofty expectations, like really loftier than anybody I had spent time playing with as a freshman. And it's been that way, again, from the time you got here, even until now, where people have these expectations for you. So before we get into how you navigate it, I want to ask, how do you set goals for yourself in the midst of the chaos of what's going on around you and the narratives and things that other people talk about?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's something I dealt with last year, really, but I think I've always had the mindset of nobody's going to have higher expectations of me than myself. Like, I always hold myself to that higher standard. I want to be perfect in everything I do out on the field, and I really take that to heart. Kind of works against me sometimes, but I've learned to deal with that. But as far as outside expectations, it was crazy for sure.
Yeah.
Especially like when you're a recruit in high school, like you haven't even stepped foot on campus yet, and you're like hearing all you're getting tagged in all these posts and all these fans and just social media, like just the reporters of the team, like putting these expectations out on you, and it's like, damn, I haven't even stepped on campus yet. Like I didn't really like it because I didn't want to come in and have this narrative about me with the guys that I was going to be playing with. I was just this 5-star or something coming in and just like not going to take it seriously. Like as soon as I stepped on campus, I wanted to earn everybody's respect and kind of just show them how I operate on a day-to-day basis. I've still stuck to that because that's who I am at the end of the day. That's how my parents kind of raised me. So it's still something I'm dealing with, but I think I've learned how to manage it a lot better.
Yeah, for sure. Just in terms of, you talk about your management of a lot of pressure. How has Coach K helped alleviate that just in terms of your confidence in the offense and, how you operate? Yeah,
I mean, I think it's our offense is complicated but simple at the same time. Like his analogy of the blizzard is crazy, but it like actually fits what we do. Yeah. But it's fun being in his offense. I think it's just super fun being with him in general, and the whole offensive staff. Like it's a great offensive staff to be around, just like the defense. But like offensive staff is just energy's always at an all-time high. Just confidence in our game plan and our preparation has really paid off so far. But I think we're doing a lot of good things. But Coach K, like I didn't know what to expect when he got here. I was able to have a couple FaceTimes with him after he first got hired, and I didn't know what to expect, but it's been great. I love Coach K, and he's done a great job for not only me, but the whole offense.
Yeah, so he really has done an incredible job. I will say that. I will say I sit in meetings and I listen to Coach K, I'm like, I like that. I like what he's talking about. I like what he's talking about. Yeah. Some have, called you Lamar Allar. I'm not going to say into that. Some have been calling you Lamar Allar. Yeah. So where has this newfound confidence in your legs come from? You've always had it. You showed it a little bit last season, but I think this season, especially in the first 4 games, you've used your legs a lot. What went into that development into your game?
I think it was just trusting myself more. I think last year I had opportunities to pull the ball where I didn't. And it's just trusting what I see and just trusting my instincts out there because of all the film I watched throughout the week. And I think it was also Coach K just saying like, hey, this is what you're going to have to do to help not only yourself be better, but the whole offense be better. And I want to do whatever I need to do to help the offense be more successful, more efficient. And that was one of his big emphasis coming into the season for me. But I think it's just losing a little bit of weight in the weight room too. Getting with Coach Losey and Coach Franklin, getting stronger, faster, more athletic like everybody does in the offseason. So I really took that grind to a whole new level for me than I have since the first 2 summers I was here. I felt like that's paid off so far. Just looking forward to keep continuing to build off that for me.
Sure.
So I got 2 questions for you. The first one, do you have moments where you think to yourself, maybe I am Lamar Jackson? Maybe that is my game.
No. Watching Lamar is like I've never seen anything. Like obviously there was Michael Vick, but I was young when Vick was still in the league. But watching Lamar, it's insane the things that he does on the field.
He's definitely a little bit different. This is completely off topic of what we've been talking about, but I think it's relevant with your situation specifically, where really there's only been a couple guys who have come through Penn State recently who like legitimately may not be able to just go to the hub if they want to, and like grab a sandwich. Yeah. Are you able, in this stage of your career, like, when was the last time you've been in the hub? Do you ever think to yourself, man, I should go to the hub right now, and then don't go because you know what's going to come next? And for those of you who don't know, Dvon, will you explain what the hub is to the viewers back home? Listen, if you're looking for your NIL jersey, Family Clothesline has what you need. Over 120 of the Penn State football players are exclusively working with Family Clothesline to bring to you their NIL jersey. Each one of Family Clothesline's NIL jerseys features the official patch that lets you know that these jerseys are the real deal, super authentic, and they directly benefit our Penn State Nittany Lions. Jerseys are available in both navy and white, and the sizes go up to 3X in both adult and youth sizes. This jersey program benefits the players in a great way. Make sure to go get yours at www.pennstateclothes.com.
So the hub is a central gathering place for all the students on campus, and you tend to go there as a younger guy, but everybody goes into the hub. Now, the hub consists of it is very open to the public. You know, this is not an invitation, but this is just letting you know what it is.
So, okay, thank you for doing that. So it's very public. I didn't expect that to come back to me. Back to the initial question. Drew, can you go? What is it like for you at the hub?
I'm not going to lie, I've never really been to the hub.
Okay, you haven't even thought about it.
Like, I went when I first got here, like spring semester of my mid-year year with all the guys that mid-yeared, but I mean, even then, like, it was pretty crazy. Sure. I've never really been able to go places around here and not been recognized, in all honesty. But, you know, I guess it is what it is at this point. I've kind of gotten used to it.
But that's what's interesting to me. It's like, okay, it is what it is, and you get used to it to an extent. But does that get tiring? Like, to not really be able to go places without somebody, again, recognizing you or wanting to talk or take a picture, whatever it may be?
I mean, yes and no. It's definitely like cool to have that, but for me, I know Vaughn probably knows this, but like obviously I'm social, but like I have my limit. And you know, when I'm out and about, sometimes like I'm in a rush, so like I probably seem irritated to some people that come up to me, but I like don't mean anything by it. So like when I hit my limit, and I know all my family and friends like know that about me. It's just kind of how I am.
Funny story too with that. Drew, I believe this was last year or his first year, just got here, right? He comes up the stairs running. I said, yo, you good? He says, Vaughn, they seen me. They're here. I said, what are you talking about, Drew? What are you talking about? He said, there's a group of people outside trying to take pictures of me. I said, go ahead, Drew, go get your food. So I grab my food. I go downstairs. Walk down the stairs, look to my right. It's about 30 people standing down there with their phone going like this. Like, they look a little disappointed when I walked out. When they thought it was Drew, they looked a little disappointed. But I was like, wow, this is a whole new level of like stardom here. I'm like, wow, this is crazy.
Yeah, different level, man. Different level. So I'll ask you, I kind of want to shift gears here just a little bit. I mean, it's the NIL era. And obviously, being a big-time quarterback at a big-time school, you have opportunities. And it's honestly, NIL is different for that small group of people, of quarterbacks at these elite schools. So I want to know more about how you kind of balance that and kind of what your approach is. Because I know with different quarterbacks around different teams across the country, they handle it differently. So how do you handle NIL in this era?
Yeah, I mean, when I first got on campus, I was kind of going through the agent search, I guess, or like NIL representation, and I was able to, you know, find CAA, my guy Patrick Collins, PC. I've been with him ever since. He's done a great deal for me, not only like me, but my family, just helping us through just navigating everything. Because obviously when I first got here, it was like pretty new still. I think it was like only a year or two old. But for me, I definitely like limit to what I do. I never want NIL to be a distraction to me, my goals and the team, and just everything I have to do on the field and off the field. For me, I've definitely turned down more stuff than I've done. And that's how I always want to handle it, especially in season. Like, I want to do very limited things. very rarely anything on social media just because I don't need any distractions or anything like that. But for me, it always goes through my agents. They bring me everything. They just give me advice. They never tell me no or yes on things. They always leave that decision up to me, which I really respect about them. Like they give me all the information, but never force me to do one thing or the other. And they've done a great deal of help for me and my family, again, like I said earlier. But for me, it's not about money, I guess. It's more about just doing like what you do with that. Like some of the opportunities are cool. Obviously, it's cool to earn money, and I think athletes should take advantage of that. But at the end of the day, I know Vaughn knows this, and we talk about this all the time. Like you're not chasing the bag in college. The real money's that NFL contract, especially that second one, if you're fortunate enough to get there. So for me, I never look at money right now. It's more of like, what am I doing to hopefully put myself in a position to earn money like they're making in the NFL right now.
Real talk.
That's a wise answer. That is
real talk.
Yeah, this guy's a vet, man. He gets it.
You know, somebody's just touching a lot of it, you know.
Too easy for Drew.
I was just, you know.
Yeah. So let me ask you, just in terms of NFL guys, one thing I love about my social media, I don't know if yours is like this, but I'll get like Tom Brady clips where he's talking for a minute about the way he prepares. He talks about how he studies film and how he kind of goes through his mental process of the game as a quarterback. Are you on that side of social media? Do you see those types of clips? And if so, who are some of the guys who are either playing now or have played the position that you try to study and emulate?
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, like in season, I'm off of Twitter, so I haven't really seen much of that recently. But like Instagram, I'll get it every once in a while. But like Tom Brady, for sure, for the mental side of the game, like him and Aaron Rodgers, I think do an unbelievable job of being leaders in their own way. Obviously, two different guys, two different types of leaders. But I think that at the end of the day, there's a lot to learn from those guys. And I don't look at only football. Like I look at other sports. I think Michael Jordan's a great example. Obviously, just how tenacious he was as a competitor and a leader. For me, like studying the game right now, my guy Danny breaks down like every single NFL team. So like for me watching tape, I watch a lot of the McVay Shanahan tree.
Yep.
So it's basically half the league right now.
Yeah,
so like
seriously.
there's a lot of guys that have been successful from that tree, even in college now. Like there's a lot of college programs that we watch over the summer. And I try to, we try to emulate some of that stuff into our offense, and concepts get into our offense. And we've already done a lot of it. It's paid off for us. But I think my favorite guys to watch in the league are definitely Mahomes, just because he's a special talent. Josh Allen's always been one of my favorite quarterbacks ever since he's really been in the league. And Joe Burrow, I think, is a great example of just mentality and just how he processes information on the field. But I mean, there's a lot of other guys that I watch, like even if they don't play like me, like Lamar. Like I think like watching him like play football is just truly special to watch. And there's a handful of other guys in the league that are like that too.
Lamar Allar. I mean, you talk about QB play, and then you look at our own room. You have you and Bo in there. Mm-hmm. Like, how competitive is it in that room between you two? Just because, you two have two different playing styles, but both elite in your own way. So how competitive is it in that room between you two, especially?
Yeah, it's really competitive, and it's not just us being competitive. Like, it's the whole room. Like, Grunk's done a great job. Smolik's done a great job already. So I think the whole room is super competitive, but I think it's a healthy environment in our room. Like, obviously, you can get into situations where the competitiveness side of it, like, kind of takes over, and, like, it turns into a negative impact in that room and your culture of that room. But I think a quarterback room, especially, like, we're super tight together. We're always talking to each other on the sideline of what we're seeing, why'd I do something, why'd Bo do something, and even in practice, like asking each other what we saw. I think that communication between all of us has helped all of us in our own way. Like, I think the cool thing about quarterback, everybody sees the game a different way, and if you're able to learn more ways to communicate with each other and just see how they see the game, it helps your perspective and when you go out on the field. So I think our environment in that quarterback room is super competitive, but it's also like a very healthy competitiveness.
Yeah. I mean, so was it similar to that with, Sean Clifford in the room? Was in there for 6 years, 30 years. Hey, we're in at the same time, bro. We've been in for 30 years.
Yeah, you can't even make the joke anymore.
I can't even make the joke anymore. But, he was in college for a very long time. Mm-hmm. And then, he has two star-studded quarterbacks come into the room. So how was that? What was it like? What did you take from him that you're now passing on to your younger guys?
Yeah, I mean, I think his leadership. I think he was always one of the unquestioned leaders of the team, vocally and just his work ethic. So like when I was able to see that, because I knew like the type of player he was coming in here, and just to see how he worked in person was, I think, something that really helped me a lot and just motivated me to always strive to be one of the hardest workers on the team. And I think he kind of set the foundation for us as quarterbacks coming in and being able to watch him. And I think also, like I said, like I think he kind of established a healthy competitiveness because if anybody knows Sean, you know how competitive he gets. And he gets super fired up, which is always fun to see, even about things that aren't about football. So that was really cool to see just him and how he operated. And again, like every quarterback is different, like play style wise, but it was really cool to sit and learn behind Sean. And he was a great person to learn behind, and obviously a great mentor to me, and we still keep in touch.
Yeah,
for sure.
I want to quickly on Sean because, we're all Ohio guys. Me and Sean come from the same conference in high school. So me and Sean and our schools were like the biggest rivals. So it was smoke with me and Sean. Like we weren't friends. And I remember I had never talked to the kid like at any point in time at this point. We played my junior year, his senior year. And it was like well documented in the local news that he had a hamstring problem. Like he was hurt and was playing through it. And I beat his right tackle like real clean, real quick, beat him. He has no idea I'm coming. And I put my helmet in the back of Sean's hamstring as hard as I can. Like I derailed Cliff. We haven't talked at this point.
Yeah.
Cliff gets up, looks at me. He's like, "Hey, jackass, is that all you got?" And then runs off the field. That's the first interaction I ever had with Cliff. We ended up being good friends. That's my guy.
Right after you drilled him.
Right after I drilled him. No diddy. Regardless, we'll cut that. We got to cut that. We got to cut that out. That's not going to
I left some space there. So you can edit it out.
We're good.
Clip that, though. Set that
Clip right there.
For
Mark.
Sure.
Make sure we get it.
We all got to...
Let's get back on topic here, Drew. There's all kinds of music that you can listen to pregame.
Tell them.
And I've seen you post on your story some underground Drake. I mean, there have been times I've clicked on your story and been proud. I'm like, this guy gets it. Top 3 pregame songs right now. Drew Allar is at the 50 throwing around pregame. What is in those headphones?
Wait,
songs?
1 sec, bro. I'm sorry. I just want y'all to know, Drew is one of those guys who has exquisite music taste, I will say.
The Instagram story backs it up.
You know what I mean? And I want you guys to go back through his captions and I want you to read them.
Pay attention.
Who are they?
No doubt.
That's what I want you to do. But go ahead. Top 5.
Songs? Man, I don't know if there's specific songs, but like artist-wise, like I'm always gonna listen to Drake.
Okay.
No matter what. No matter the type of mood I'm in.
Okay.
Drake's gonna be put on. But like pregame, this might OT7 Quantity, bro. I ain't gonna lie.
OT, that's
can I ask, what's your favorite OT7 Quantity song? Can you name any of them right now?
Go Getter. Go Getter is one of them. And then Youngest Turn. It just came out. I was listeting to that this weekend.
That's why he's running the ball the way he is.
Lamar Allar, listen to OT7 Quantity.
I'm trying to think. Let's see. I already said Drake, so Quantity, Drake, and then, man, there's a lot of other guys I listen to. Been listening to old Uzi recently.
That's another great pick. Well,
and then Boss Man, that's a staple. Yeah, that's a staple now, especially now. That's all we listen to in the weight room.
bad in school.
It should be no surprise that Drew's hooping like he is. Because he's listening to OT7
Quantity. I was bad in school.
I
was trying to dodge a sentence.
He's trying to dodge a sentence.
There's a lot of Laser Dim.
Yeah, Laser Dim.
Okay, I like
Laser
that.
Dim. I mean, Baby, Lil Baby.
Okay.
And then
shout out my label.
Yeah.
That's impressive, Drew.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys I listen to.
I like that.
Lamar Allard. That's why you're running like that.
It makes sense. This is all adding up now. That's crazy. I do want to ask, I feel like you were always a really high-level quarterback. I mean, it was obvious. I remember when you came in, I was actually doing rehab on a day off. I didn't know who you were, and I'm stretching, and everybody in the training room was like, yo, you see that kid outside? You see his name's Drew Allar. He's from Ohio. He's blah, blah, blah. He's the truth. and everybody's gassing it up. You know, when you're a senior, like at this point, like I'm not easily impressed by the 17-year-old who comes in and is supposed to be the chosen one. So I went outside with a water bottle with ice on my knee and sat on the bench and watched Drew throw the football for the first time and was a believer on day one. I want to ask, what are the areas you feel like you've grown the most as a quarterback? Specifically between the time period of last year and this year, where has your game improved the most?
Yeah, I mean, I think my consistency, and I think you can kind of see that in the stats, like in terms of the completion percentage. I think I'm hitting the throws more consistently that I probably missed a few last year at this point of the year. And I think just my confidence in everything, like I think I'm delivering the ball with a lot more like just decisiveness and decision making and that sort of thing. And I think the biggest thing for me is like it was always cleaning up my footwork, and I think Danny's done a great job of that, like giving me a system to work in based off the concept that we got on the primary. And I think that's helped me a ton, just stay in rhythm, because my shout out Coach Laird, my Medina high school head coach, he always told me like on time, on target, and that's always kind of stuck true to me. He'll still text it to me after games today, but like for me, when I'm in rhythm, like I feel like I'm gonna hit most of my throws. So like that's always one of my goals. No matter if there's pressure in the pocket, like I want to stay in rhythm as long as I can and get the ball out and give my receivers catchable balls and balls that are going to be able to let them make a guy miss right after the catch. So I think just consistency and ball placement and just accuracy has been my biggest improvement so far this year.
I love that. Another question I want to ask. We talked about the quarterback room, but when you see another guy who's not an actual quarterback line up at it in Tyler Warren, do you get as excited as the rest of the viewers do when you see him in that position?
Yeah, the bullet, what was that, Kent State, where he threw the touchdown? Yeah, that was an insane play. Like I don't know if he wants me telling it, but like when he was on the ground, he thought he threw an interception based off the crowd's reaction, but it ended up being a touchdown. Like that was one of the more impressive plays I saw. And obviously, like this weekend, him leaping into the end zone, like I don't know how far he leaped back, but he cleared a guy, and then he killed Dink too. I don't know if people saw that. Like Dink, like
poor
got
Dink,
killed.
man.
Like he sacrificed his body for that one, but you know it was worth it for getting a touchdown. But I mean, it just shows how versatile he is, and he's a big part of our offense.
Yeah. I did have a question.
It's all good. I'll ask another one. Wow. And we'll wrap up here soon, Drew, but we talked a lot about the offense. I want to know, obviously doing a lot of really good things. The offense has been exciting. It's been explosive. You're throwing it to different targets. The running backs are gone. It's been great. But as you evaluate where you are now heading into the rest of the year, are there any areas where this offense can still be better that leave you feeling excited? Yeah,
for sure. And I think, at least in the pass game, we can be better. I can be better still. And then just stressing getting to our depth and our routes, specifically our backside routes. And I think we've done a great job of it so far. It's just little things continuing to build up, but not letting those things continue throughout practices and games. But I think we've done a great job so far. It's super fun to be a part of, and it's fun being able to spread the ball around to different guys and really show how many playmakers we have, because I know that was one of the criticisms of our receiver room coming into this year. And I know how hard they work. Dvon knows how hard they work throughout the spring and summer to get to the point where they're at. And they've done a phenomenal job so far. So I want to be able to put them in a position to keep making plays, keep feeding them the ball and helping them boost their confidence. And they're doing a lot of good things in our run game. But I think we're still going to get more explosive, take more shots down the field. And then up front, like they've been playing violent so far. And it's only going to help us going into the part of the season we're going into with a tough UCLA team coming into town. They play super physical up front, and we're going to need the same energy that we had from the O-line last weekend to be successful this week.
What is one thing that you think the fans should know about our team, about our offense, that they don't already know yet?
I mean, I think how much fun we really do have. I think we showed it on Fat Man's touchdown. Yeah. Like that was one of the coolest moments I've been a part of, getting Fat in the end zone, and then the whole line just and me kicking the door down. Yeah, so that was fun. Yeah. I think we're playing at a really high level right now, but we're also playing for each other. I know the defense has always been that way, playing for each other on that side of the ball, and it's cool to be a part of a unit like that. And I think it's helping offense feed into the defense feed into the offense. And then when the defense and offense come together for special teams, it's really helping us right now. And I think it's just how much fun we have because we know how serious we take it, but we're also having a ton of fun.
So, I mean, just in terms of how the offense has been developing, we've got a lot of different looks throughout the summer and the spring from the offense. How do you think that's helped progress the defense? And now what we're seeing in college football with the new style of play?
Yeah, I mean, I think you see how much stress we do cause, especially even up front. Like people think of causing stress in the back end, but when we go unbalanced, heavy formations, like that causes a lot of stress for you guys like you communicating it, and then just the different tempo variations we have. I think that just helps you guys a lot getting those banked reps, and then when you see it in games or preparing for it throughout the week, like you've seen it all year. It's not like something you haven't been preparing for all summer and all spring. So I think that's been the biggest thing. Like our style of offense has helped our defense in a lot of ways, and same with the defense. Like how I feel about Prowler. like Fowler is one of the craziest defenses you'll ever go against. I don't really wish it on anybody but our opponents. It's fun to go against, and when you get guys like Dvon, and then you get Abdul over the ball, Denai, it's insane. Keem. Like Zane, Keem, like it's so deep up front with in terms of depth with the front seven and able to play the linebackers up there too. Like it's hard to match up against it, but it makes us better at the same time because we're going against one of the best defenses, probably the best defense in all of college football every day, and it's just helping us grow our game as well.
Yeah. Go ahead, Vaughn. Sorry.
No, I was gonna say. I mean, you've seen tremendous performances from guys like Kobe King, Jalen Reed, another guy who had an incredible game this past weekend, Abdul Carter. Yep. How has their development went into? How has that showed on the field? Especially with Abdul moving from linebacker to defensive end. How do you think that affects you and the rest of the offense?
Well, he's a lot closer to the ball, which is not always fun. Yeah, which is not always fun. And then, ever since I've got here, Jay Reed has always been a playmaker. Mm-hmm. He does a really good job in coverage, and then he's a very aggressive tackler too. And Kobe, he made some crazy tackles this past weekend. Like the one sack he had was a crazy play, like jumping and then I don't know how he did it, and then just getting the QB to the ground. And then I saw the one swing route where he just, avoided the blocker and then was able to club the running back's legs. And that was insane. But like going against like guys like you and the rest of the defense every day only helps us because we're getting the best players in the country across from us every day. And that's only going to help us at the end of the day because we know how challenging the Big Ten is and how just challenging each opponent that we're going against is. And to go against a defense and offense like we have every day is only helping us.
Yeah. And so, this season alone, we're seeing a lot of changes just across the board. How have you seen Coach Franklin develop in this space so far, just in the season?
In terms of just
how he is. I feel like I've noticed just the change in terms of, how he operates, not in his consistency, but just like his approach to the game.
I think he's like super involved with everything. He knows everything that's going on. And I don't think people give him enough credit for how smart he is on the offensive side of the ball. Like you go back to his coordinating days at Maryland and K-State. Like he did a lot of good things, and it's a lot of the stuff that we're doing now is similar to what his background is with the West Coast offense and those things. So I think he really likes it a lot too. Yeah. And him being in the quarterback room every day is super fun just because of how many perspectives he has. Not only being a former quarterback, former OC, but being the head coach. Like he gets to sit in your meetings and really tell us as quarterbacks what the defense is expecting on these plays, why they're doing certain things. So he gives us a lot of different perspectives, and I think he's just a lot more, a lot more relaxed, but I think he just seems just to be having a lot more fun this year already. And it's fun to, I wouldn't want to play for any other head coach other than Coach Franklin. Like he was a big reason why I committed here, and I love playing for him every day.
It's so interesting with him. Again, he doesn't get enough credit for, when you're in the locker room, but his process, and his consistency within that process, I had 4 years there, and I don't remember him having a day where it was Franklin, he's a little off today. He's not locked in like he should be. This dude is the model
most consistent individual. Hasn't changed in 30 years. Whatever the number he's throws out. He's
going to be himself.
The best thing is when you know what he's going to say before he says it.
Goodness.
No. And you know it's coming. Like red zone fades, if a ball goes out of bounds, you already know it's coming. I I learned that the first day, and that's always my biggest nightmare. And I'm like,
Give him a
oh,
chance.
here it comes. Here it comes.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
I actually was just thinking the other day about red zone one-on-ones. I remember being a senior and like I really wasn't healthy. I had broken my leg. Like I'm kind of cleared, but not really. Whatever. It doesn't matter. I'm thinking I've got nothing to worry about red zone one-on-ones. They throw me out there against Olu Fashanu his freshman year, who has a legitimate 6.5 inches. Do you remember that? I remember standing there here, Hawkins, Olu. And I'm like, he's not running a slant. He's going to dunk on me in front of everybody. Like, why would you put me in here other than to embarrass me? Like, anyway, man, I just felt the need to get that out there. That was unnecessary.
I would kill to see Lou run a route, man.
Oh, my God.
I got to see that.
Yeah,
I got to see that.
for that film.
It was one of the worst
I'm
routes.
going to.
It was a horrible route, but the ball went up. And Olu is like a big ogre. Like he's a giant. Like dude jumped.
Yo, only where he can grab it too.
Only
Like, placement was perfect.
Yeah.
I don't remember who threw the ball, but the
Do
placement
you remember
was
that?
perfect.
He didn't end up catching it, but the reason why was I remember trying to play like DB for real. Then I saw him jump, and I'm like, he's gonna dunk on me. And I grabbed him by the front of his shoulder pads and just like sat back. Like I wasn't letting him get up there. There's no way.
Yeah.
Not on my watch.
There was a line. There was a line.
Yeah.
Hawk wasn't willing to cross.
I wasn't. We're not taking it there. Last question for you, Drew. Really appreciate you coming on, but I want to ask, out of that offensive unit, is there one guy that walks into the room when you guys have unit meetings that you know is going to make the day better? He's going to make you laugh. Who is the funniest person on your offense?
I mean, the easy answer is Doc, but I would say the most underrated answer is Fat Man.
Fat Man.
Yeah. I think Coach K loves Fat Man's answers. Fat Man is one of the funniest guys you'll be around, and it's so fun to be around him. Like, just his energy. He doesn't talk much, but when he talks, it's funny as hell.
Wait, why? Okay, so Dvon he hasn't stopped laughing since you said Fat Man's name. What is it about Katron Allen that is
Just
so...
his personality.
He's just always
man.
himself.
Yeah, nonchalant.
There's no deviation for nobody, nothing. Like he's always himself.
Yeah.
I love it. He's hilarious. Real last question. So what would you say is a piece of advice that you would give young QBs that are trying to be in the same position that you're in now?
Oh, that's hard. I mean, I would say stick to your process. It's not any different for quarterback. I mean, you've gotten to the point where you're at just because of the work you've put in. I think it's about always refining your process, no matter if it's film study or just your work habits. Like, I think the more work you put in, the more the results are going to pay off. And obviously, like, there's a lot of hard work that goes into it that many people won't see or give you credit for. But that's where the rewards come out of it, when you're able to go out and experience like games in Beaver. Like, obviously, with being through so many. Being through so many, how special it is, and just how like cool it is to be a part of it. But like, just keep your head down, keep working. I wouldn't just say that for quarterbacks, but like really any position.
Yeah. This is the actual last question I have. Obviously, the expectation of Penn State football is very clear. Fans won a national championship. You won a national championship. Everybody wants to see Penn State go and accomplish at the highest level. I want to ask you, as the quarterback of this football team, as the captain of the ship, how often are you thinking about that? And how do you refrain from allowing that to distract you from going 1-0 each week with the strength of the schedule that you're constantly facing?
I mean, I think it kind of goes hand in hand. Obviously, we all know everybody's goal throughout our organization and team, what we want to do at the end of the year. But in order to get to that, it's like you said, going 1-0 every week. I think what we've stressed on the offensive side of the ball, it's always about refining your process and how you do it. Like, your process shouldn't be the same as the last week. Like, it should always be improving and changing slightly. It doesn't have to change drastically each week, but if you're doing something different that's going to help you be more prepared for games on Saturday and allow you to play faster and more free, like, that's what you have to do. And I think we're doing a really good job of that on the offensive side of the ball right now. But like you said, like, obviously we all know our goals, but I mean, I think that's what kind of drives us to be 1-0 every week. But again, like, it's about being 1-0 and doing everything that you can in your power throughout that week of prep to give yourself the best shot to go out there and just play your best ball.
No doubt about it. Well, Drew, appreciate you jumping on, man. Best of luck to you the rest of the year. And to our viewers back home, make sure to stay tuned at State Media. We're going to continue to bring you the best guests covering Penn State football with the latest stories. Make sure if you aren't subscribed to do that now and continue to watch for more weekly content from Dvon and myself.